Welcome to the Underground. This is your host, Joe Black, and today we want to talk about some issues for the 2020 election. Because of COVID-19, many of us will have to cast our vote through the mail. This is different. It's going to be a daunting task to get all the mail in and get the mail counted. The president said that this system is ripe for massive amounts of fraud. There have been some states and counties that have been using large-scale mail-in voting for years. And the amount of fraudulent mail voting or fraudulent voting overall has been minuscule. There is not a problem with fraud in voting in this country. This is a way for the president to have it out if he loses the election. And he's doing everything he can to affect the election through mail-in voting. Not only does he talk disparagingly about mail-in voting, he is sabotaging mail-in voting. The president has appointed one of his biggest donors, Louis DeJoy, as the Postmaster General. And Mr. DeJoy has done everything to sabotage the delivery of mail in this country, from firing high-ranking officials, to changing policy that affects the way we get our mail, to stopping employees from getting overtime to help them get rid of backlogs of mail. Mail is now being left in warehouse. People are not getting their checks and medication on time. This can be a major issue as we ramp up to one of the biggest mail-in voting campaigns in history. The president has long displayed an animosity towards the U.S. Postal Service. And one of the reasons, besides the voting issue, is because of his relationship with Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon and the Washington Post. The USPS is a major distributor for Amazon products. Mr. Bezos owns the Washington Post, which has been critical but truthful of the Trump presidency. It has pointed out times that he has lied. It has given coverage to the Mueller report. It has called out the times when he's called third world nations by derogatory terms, reported on his Mexican ban, and it has shown the president as the president is, I would say, in a not in good lighting, but it is showing the president just as he acts and interacts with people. And he doesn't like it. And so that's one of the reasons that the president has historically been against the USPS. He has threatened to defund it. And I don't know where that would leave us. I know we do a lot of things electronically now, but we still use the mailing system. So November 3rd is going to be crucial. We will choose the man or woman or the next person to lead us for the next 4 years. But what happens if the sitting president of the United States, upon losing an election, decides not to leave? What happens next? Well, with this president, we've already seen that he has mobilized a secret police force in Portland, people with unidentifiable uniforms, unidentifiable cars, whisked people off into the smoke. We don't know who these people are, what jurisdiction they represent. As I said, it's a secret police force. Can this secret police force be used to gather up voting boxes and ballots throughout this country? Can this secret police force be used to set out in front of polling places to intimidate people from voting? Can it close down polls before the times if it seems as if the president is going to lose? I'm for one, am concerned about that. So we'll see those things that we have to watch out for. What I would advise you to do, I'll talk about that later, is if you see things that don't seem right at your polling place, contact your local official, contact your state representative, and make sure that you're allotted the proper amount of space. Each state has distances where people can and are allowed to be in if they're not voting. So if the president loses this election, November 3rd, And he says, I didn't lose. And he says that the Democrats have stolen the government from the people. What if he sends out the signal to his supporters, the NRA, white nationalists, and other far right groups, and tell them to take up arms? What happens on November 4th, 5th, and afterwards if that happens? I'll tell you one thing for sure. On November 8th, on Election Day, when Barack Obama became president of the United States, I got in my car and I drove down in front of the White House, and I was out there celebrating with the people who celebrated the election of the first African-American president. And not because of a lack of enthusiasm. When the announcement comes on who won the election of 2020, I will not go downtown, because I am telling you, Trump supporters will be enraged. I can see people being clubbed, jumped, stabbed. I think people should stay home that night. I don't think it would be safe out. The rage, what we've seen, parts of that rage throughout this year, with people mad, other people wearing masks, or people mad because other people demand to be treated fairly. And this rage is out there, and I think it will boil over once this presidency has been ended. So, like I said, when Barack Obama was voted in president-elect that night, it was after 12 o'clock. I went downtown to D.C. With mail-in voting, it is highly unlikely that we will know on November 3rd, 4th, 5th, and maybe even 6th who won the election. It's going to take time to tabulate all of those mail-in votes, and I think that's going to cause some uncertainty. I think there's going to be the possibility that the president has some court challenges, and as we know, he has stacked the federal bench with over 100 far-right or conservative judges. Some of these judges, the American Bar Association says, aren't even qualified to hold that position. So the courts, that may be an issue. We get to June 20th, and he still doesn't vacate the office. Will the military or the Secret Service escort him out? Will Joe Biden have to be a president absentee? Will he have to set up a shadow government outside of the White House? Will there be unrest in this country because of the uncertainty of who is the president? Trump has already raised the possibility of being president past his term. He praised the president of China, Yi, when he declared himself president for life. And he said, maybe that's something we can do in this country. What do we do if he stays behind his constitutionally mandated time? Well, as far as the election goes, on December 8th, all the states have to turn in their votes, and whoever has 270 is declared the president of the United States. If Mr. Trump doesn't have 270 votes, on 12 o'clock noon on 20 January 2021, he will no longer be the president. I don't know if Mr. Biden, because of legal challenges, will be president or not, but Mr. Trump's term ends if he does not have 270 electoral votes. His term ends 12 o'clock on January 20th, 2021. What does this mean for the rest of us? Like I said, there's some uncertainty there. Will Nancy Pelosi, who is the third in line as the Speaker of the House, become president? I don't know. But I'm just telling you, these are things that you have to be aware of. What can we do to combat this? What can we do to make sure this nightmare scenario doesn't happen? One, if you're going to use mail-in voting, don't wait till the last minute. Vote early as possible so your vote can get in before any perceived deadline, cutoff, or where they stop taking ballots. Your ballot was in before the cutoff day and postmarked, but they didn't get it by this day. If you're going to mail in, if you're going to vote by mail-in ballot, vote as early as possible. Check the rules about the polling place that you're going to attend if you're going to vote in person. Make sure that people are outside the barrier. Make sure there's nothing funny going on where people are trying to intimidate or stop people from voting. The most important thing for this election, to ensure that we don't have any shenanigans, is to make sure it's a blowout. You have to vote in groups. We have to take people to the polls with us, our family, our friends. If we have friends who haven't registered to vote, we need to register them to vote. If you need help trying to figure out how to register in your district or in your state or your county, please contact me. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Or you can get in touch with me, Joe Black, on Facebook, or the Underground 20 on Twitter. It's very, very important that we ensure that we do what we have done for over 200 years, a peaceful transition of power. We have to make sure that this president does not put us in a place where we have civil unrest and turns 2020 into the end of this American experiment. And I know that's kind of harsh, but he has assaulted the Constitution in more ways than I can count. And we don't want him to get away with this as well. So I am challenging you to go out and get as many people as you can to vote. Go out in your community, register as many people you can to vote. So that's my take on this issue today. I'd like to say once again, if you like the content of The Underground, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. We're in a position right now where this is one of the most troubling times in this country, and you have the ability to put this country back on course. It is up to you to put the country back on course. Once again, thank you. This is Joe Black from The Underground. You are now part of The Underground.